Could there be civilizations in the universe capable of using magic? Our impression of magic is often linked to strange gestures, paired with spells that are either incomprehensible or impossible to learn, resulting in magical effects. Fireball spells, lightning spells, mind reading, time stopping, succubus summoning spells, they all seem to lack any real principles. For us, as staunch materialists, this is really hard to comprehend. After all, in our world, every phenomenon has a theoretical explanation. An apple falls due to gravity, a ship floats because of buoyancy, we walk without slipping due to friction, and, well, certain accidents occur because certain clothing wasn't removed. 0.4s. In short, every phenomenon has a principle behind it. But in the magical world, I really don't understand why waving a wand at someone, shouting some gibberish like Avada Kedavra, and poof, they're gone. However, let's open our minds and brainstorm for a moment. Let's assume there's a parallel universe where our familiar physical laws don't apply, where the four fundamental forces are absent, and instead, the universe is filled with magic elements that humans can absorb. For them, the ability to conjure frost, fire, or lightning, or manipulate earth and air, would be considered an eternal truth. Two worlds with fundamentally different logics, yet operating in similar ways. We apply physical rules, they apply magical ones. It's easier to understand this way. In the magical world, an apprentice magician chants a spell to cast magic. In the technological world, a middle schooler recites a formula, solving a math problem in seconds. There doesn't seem to be much difference at its core. We think magic is fantastical, but people from the magical world would find our technology equally mind-blowing. I hold a small glowing screen, type a few mysterious characters, and suddenly, I'm watching a performance. It's like advanced succubus summoning. 3s. Magic relies on rituals. Our science relies on processes. A magician waves their wand, chants a spell, infuses a flying broomstick with 100 points of magic power, and it travels 30 kilometers. I scan a code on my phone, fill my car with 2 liters of gas, and it also travels 30 kilometers. So, a magical civilization and a technological one are like Windows and Mac, 0.3s, two separate systems, each with its own set of rules, but incompatible with each other. A renowned grand magician in our world, unable to absorb magic elements, might end up dancing around uselessly, 0.2s, their power no match for a kung fu master's 5-strike lightning technique. Similarly, if we traveled to the magical world and started talking about universal gravitation, it would be like preaching atheism in Vatican City, a surefire way to get burned at the stake. However, if magic could also be analyzed, researched, and deconstructed, then it would essentially be another form of science, just one that can't be explained with our theoretical frameworks. So, we could say that science is the known, and magic is the unknown science. Though their principles differ, they achieve similar results. Otherwise, how would you categorize a train stopping time? Is it technology or magic? In the Avengers animated series, there's a scene where Iron Man creates a magic suppression field. When the Scarlet Witch appears, he activates it, nullifying her magic. Iron Man concludes that magic is just another form of science. Similarly, in some fantasy novels, magic, like science, requires systematic study. So, don't think riding a broomstick or throwing fireballs is simple. In reality, flying on a broom requires flight classes, and casting fireballs requires spell lessons. Their magical studies are equivalent to our medical studies, and training in mental techniques is akin to materials science. Our high school students go through years of grueling exams and mock tests. Similarly, magical apprentices face years of spellcasting and eternal trials. The hierarchy of magicians also parallels our academic system. A wandering mage is like a college graduate. A white-robed mage is like someone with a bachelor's degree. By this logic, Gandalf the Grey, through perseverance and rebirth, becomes Gandalf the White, essentially a self-taught graduate. And our AI assistants, if placed in the magical world, would at best be considered grand archmages, capable of founding their own schools. There's a trending topic on the internet. If a technological civilization and a magical civilization fought, who would win? This is actually a pretty meaningless question, since they don't operate in the same worldview. Who wins entirely depends on the author's imagination and settings. You have spells like Avada Kedavra, but if I wield a Desert Eagle paired with Magnum rounds, I'd say, Voldemort, your spell's too slow, and definitely not deadly enough. The magical world has weapons like Frostmourne, but I have a flamethrower. Isn't that essentially fire of ultimate joy and laughter? You have large-scale purification spells, but we have the Dongfeng 21 missile, a divine extinction technique. If you take it even further, you have dimensional banishment spells, and I'll bring out binary systems. So, if you really want to compare who's stronger, it's all about who can boast better. But one thing's for sure. If magic, like science, is also a way of utilizing the universe's rules, then, as it advances, a magical civilization would likely pursue the same paths as us. On one hand, they'd explore the microcosmic world to uncover universal truths, inventing tools like microscopic magic and quantum magology. On the other hand, they'd venture further into the cosmos, using magical shields and flight spells to explore space. Just like us, they'd aim for the stars and seas.